Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fintech Insider News on Air. Firstly, a weird admission. This is my first one of these for what feels like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks. You know when you start something and then you disappear for a bunch of time and then you come back and they've made it better without you. So, which is good. But I'm joined today by Jason. How's it going, Jay?
It's good. Busy, but good.
I know, it's Thursday again. It comes around rather quickly, doesn't it? Which
It
is
does.
nice. And as always, we're joined by Zoe. Say hey, Zoe.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Really, really good. It's amazing how much we're packing into a week each week, and to that, we probably should crack on and get through this. So, Zoe, what's up first?
Our wonderfully loyal Bob McLean, thank you for your question.
Good pronunciation there. Should be very happy.
Well, you know, I'm nailing it nowadays. As a startup, how do you retain the core of your culture while allowing it to grow as you scale?
Ooh, good question. Shall I go first on that one?
Do it.
By actively making that happen. I think the best thing on this one, you know, people talk about the kind of overnight success type thing, like it doesn't take lots of hard work to get up to that point where you do something. So for me, the establishment of a great culture in a company happens by really, really, really hard work. In the same way as a marriage doesn't just work, you have to work at making it work. Not wanting to shout out to my wife there at all type thing, not implying by having to work at our marriage. This is getting weird. But do you know what I mean? It's one of those things that I believe that anything good in life comes from really, really hard work, but common purposes, common goals around everybody where we're at. We were actually talking about this in a meeting earlier on today, that we kind of feel not just in the way that we want to help financial services organizations achieve the outcome of what it is that they're doing through delivering interesting outputs from the projects and programs that they're sort of leading and moving forwards. But very much this is about finding a better way to get there. We often sort of joke about it's not what you do, it's the way that you do it. And the way that you do it is by really making sure that you've got well-educated, well-understood, well-meaning people in place to make good decisions in everything that they're doing. And that's not about a parent-child relationship. That's about empowerment and putting in place a culture that actually allows people to make a predictable decision when people aren't in the room. But I don't know what you had to that, James.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think your point around working at it, ultimately there'll always be a culture, a set of beliefs and norms of how the organisation work, and most often that's a default. You know, we bring the cultures of the organisations that we worked before with us, and we kind of try and almost replicate that model. And sometimes we replicate it badly, sometimes we replicate it well. Sometimes we actually stand back and think about, well, what should the culture be in order for us to be a highly performing organisation? But that takes effort, and especially when you're in a startup, growing, delivering, selling, doing all of the work that you need to do, actually that can often fall by the wayside, and but ultimately does have a big impact as to what your organisation will become in the future. So it's one of those highly important but non-urgent things that I think you just have to prioritise.
It's an interesting one as well, because I don't think I'm going to name drop here really big, but as I was saying to the CEO of a bank last night over drinks, I don't believe that there's a single culture in an organisation. I believe that there's multiple cultures, whether it be, you can't expect the same culture within a design function that you can with engineering, because the purpose of those guys is fundamentally different in terms of actually why they're there and what they're there to do. So I think the commonality around the purpose of the company is critical, but I think you need to allow for the fact that actually interdepartmental cultures will be created. But so long as there's you often talk about the sort of tightly knitted, loosely coupled sort of metaphor, don't you? And I think that loose coupling with a kind of tight purpose of why the company is there, let alone the departments, leads to just consistency in terms of what you're doing. But given culture is many very large organizations' most significant problem over and above architecture or technology or talent or anything, the culture and inhibitors for organizations is really why a benefit from a startup. Why can a company like ours build banks quicker than big banks can build banks? Then that predominantly is down to the culture and the talent of the individuals. But it's a really interesting question, and definitely culture will keep coming back to.